What are the selling points you would likely encourage them to pay attention to as you approach the polls as the Deputy DG?
I would tell them to pay attention to competence. I would tell them to pay attention to competence. Who can deliver? Who will do the work well? I would tell them to pay attention to character. Without character, you are nowhere. I would tell them to pay attention to reputation. What reputation does your choice have? The person you are supporting, what is his reputation? What do people say about you? Because they say reputation is what people say about you, and character is who you are. Churchill is already, well grounded in a very, very reasonable character. But reputation, what do people say about you? Like the DG said, Churchill has an address. He is a family man. You can reach him somewhere. I would tell them to pay attention to professionalism. We are professionals. First things first, we do our job properly before any other thing. I would tell them to pay attention to integrity and accountability.
How difficult was it for you to make your choice, considering you have two chairmanship candidates coming from your chapel?
It was not difficult, my dear. It was very, very easy, because the difference is just like 7-Up. The difference was just too clear. It was very, very easy for me to narrow down my choice, because Churchill stands in a world of his own. It is very clear that this man knows his onions. He's family oriented. He has strong character base. When you talk of integrity, Churchill is there. When you talk of decorum, he does his things with plenty of reasoning. He's very reasonable when he does things. When it is time for work, Churchill is at work. It's very easy to narrow down my choice, because, you can't just compare. There's no basis for comparison. Both of them are my colleagues. Both of them are my friends. But I am not being sentimental about my choice. The pitch, the highest point is Churchill. And we shouldn't just, joke about it.
You are of the State Information Chapel. I'm inclined to describe that as your original constituency. Some school of thought believe that there are obvious tendency to tilt the union away from active check on the actions and activities of government, which is one of the fiduciary responsibilities of the journalist anyway. Because you are their employee and their employer, though not everyone subscribes to cantankerous, confrontational and antagonistic approach in dealing with the government. But regardless, how do you intend to ensure that what needs to be done gets done for the union and for the society by extension?
Now, one of our cardinal points in the power concept is engagement. You have said it rightly, it's not about antagonism, it's not about hostility. It's about coming up with your ideas. They say ideas rule the world. And if you have cogent ideas, bright ideas as to why your stakeholders, including government, will look at some of your concerns, you're able to back them up with facts, then you can have your way with ease. I'll tell you a story. It's one of my antecedents. There was a time when all government journalists and media workers, cultural workers, were not having weighing allowance. And they were doing collation. At the end of the day, the Ministry of Information was left out. For years, the Ministry of Information was not among those getting it in Delta State. I took it as a pain to see the governor, through the help of late David Ofoyeno, the chairman of Nigeria Labour Congress. We met, myself and Charles, we met with the governor, and I presented the issue to the governor. The governor then, that is Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa. This happened in 2016, January, in a recession period. The governor said, Secretary, go and put what you have said in black and white. I will look at it. And we did that. By March of that year, to be precise, March, ending of March, approval came that information officers are now beneficiaries of the 22.5% weighing allowance for media and cultural workers. I looked at that. It came at a time when we were in recession. The governor just came in then, and the sing-song was Ego Area. The governor was able to listen to our cogent ideas, our views, the need why we need to include information officers, state information officers. So what can you not achieve if you have the ideas? So I just believe that when you present your views to stakeholders and you are convincing, they will listen to you. The other one is we were looking for more departments in the Ministry of Information. The ministry has done its best. They've carried the file up to the head of service table, and it was there. When the governor met with us, that was before the general election, governorship general election, I felt the pain to actually speak. And when I raised my hand up, I said we needed departments. I narrated the issue of stagnation. One of our officers stayed for 8 years. What was the reason? Because there was no department. And there and then the governor said he would look into the issue. 3-4 weeks later, we got 2 new departments, field publicity and new media. So these are opportunities of engagement. With gainful engagement, you can get whatever you want to get in this life. So it is not until you become a private firm, a private journalist, or a journalist working in the private sector that you can get results. No, it is your ability to come up with your strong points. Whether you are in private, whether you are in public, it doesn't make the difference. We have been in public, we have private people around, but it is the personality in you that determines whether you can make meaningful progress from your position or not. It is not whether you are in private or whether you are in public. It is the personality in you that can determine whether you can make progress or not. So I want that to be key. It's not whether you are in private or you are in public sector.
But before I go into what impression people have of you the party as an acronym, and it's expected if or when you become the leader, that might be seen as everything rises and falls on leadership. It is expected that you would have internalized, or you would have made it yours by way of a policy. How would you describe to a layman like me what the policy trust or power is?
Power, professionalism, openness, welfareism, engagement, and resourcefulness. When we say professionalism, we're talking about bringing back our lost glory through ethical standards. What makes any professional body to be respected is the ability to maintain good standards progressively. That is what we are bringing to the NUG. We want to make sure that our members are ethically sound and that they are trained and retrained. That will be done through the establishment and proper funding of the only constitutionally recognized committee, which is the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. We'll make sure that that committee works and is funded. When you talk about openness, we are talking about being transparent and being accountable. A lot of things go wrong in a union when you have leaders who are not transparent, who are not accountable. They work in, they shroud their activities in secrecy. No, we are not coming with that. We'll be accountable and we'll be transparent with our procedures, bearing in mind best practices. And again, the welfareism part of it talks about carrying our members' consign as our consign, because there's no unionism without welfareism. We will make our members to feel leadership. To feel leadership, we are going to set up a committee, welfare committee, that will look into the concerns of our member. How we, as a council, will attend to them. How they, in their place of work, can also receive attention, and how the society in general can also give them attention. So that welfare committee will be there to look into all that. I'll make sure that the committee functions properly. Now, when you talk about E, which is the engagement part of it, it will be meaningful, it will be gainful. We are talking about not parading ourselves as thugs or rascals, we will not be seen to be hostile or be aggressive. No, that is not unionism. Unionism that I understand that is gainful is the unionism that thrives on meaningful engagement. Engagement with all our stakeholders. We have government there, we have companies, we have the various state actors. So it's a big stakeholder frame that we have to work with, and we will engage them meaningfully. Our areas of concern we take to them and convince them, because we have said before that if you have a stronger argument, no meaningful person, no sound person, no right thinking person will throw your ideas away, will throw your concerns away. So we engage our people meaningfully. And when it comes to resourcefulness, we invest our seed money. We cannot just be having money on donations like that from government, individuals and groups, and it's everything. The other time the governor gave us 25 million naira, which caused a lot of uproar. As a leader, if I were to be in charge, I know that we would have invested part of that money. We wouldn't have eaten everything. Today we have eaten everything and we still go capping and begging. No, we will not be beggarly. When we have seed money, we will invest it to an extent that we will now become self-sustaining. When it comes to carrying out small activities, we don't need to go and be begging all the time. We fund ourselves. That way we have that self-dignity, that self-respect. People will see us and respect us. It will come to a time where NUJ will be giving, not just receiving alone. NUJ will be giving. We started it sometime when the former Inspector General of Police, Baba Akali, was in Delta State. That was 2015 or so. We welcomed him well and even gave him money. He was surprised. He said, do journalists give money? So it was a perception that journalists do not give money. They are just like you say, police, if they regrettably, that if they visit you, they collect money. If you visit them, they collect money. That's how they see journalists. But we want to do away with that perception. And we want to believe that we will be resourceful to the extent that we now become givers and not beggars.
Well, welfareism and resourcefulness seems to be standing out in this, if I may pull that template into analysis. In certain quarters, some believe that you aren't as resourceful as they would expect you to be in social interaction, which is, by the way, equally very important. How do you react to this class of thought?
Well, it's a perception wrongly conceived. I have been to primary school, to secondary school, to university, and to my master's level. I've been interacting with people. The truth is that you may not necessarily be friends to everybody, but you can be acquaintances to people. You can have acquaintances rather. I may not be friends to everybody, but it does not mean that I don't have social life. I don't have to tag myself with everybody for me to be social. I'm a very social person. And those who know me know that I'm social. So for people to believe that I must go carry the whole world on my head, that I can drink, I womanize, I live nightlife. No. There's moderation in everything that we do in life. It depends on you. Your moderation may not be like my own, and my moderation may not be like your own. I moderate my social life, and I know that my circle of friends believe in me and they enjoy my friendship. So those people who do not believe in me, I'm begging them to see me as an individual different from them, and we all must not be alike. That is the truth. You can never be like me, I can never be like you. But then I am still socially oriented, and those who are close to me can attest to that.
If I'm going to come to you directly, in your disposition, in your inclination, what is your attitude towards those who believe in unwinding? Because when people work so hard, they have time to unwind. What's your attitude towards them?
We unwind. I'll tell you, when I started work in 2001, we used to have where we go to unwind Onishe Street in Asaba, our former secretariat of the NUG. You see, I'm a disciplined and dedicated person when it comes to work. I work when I should work, and I go to unwind when I should go to unwind. That time at about 4, 5, 6, you see us trooping to Onishe Streets to unwind. But now, how do you unwind? How do you kill boredom in a graveyard? I don't understand. If you go to our secretariat, it's like a graveyard. What happens in the daytime, you see some people loitering there. People should be productive at that material time. And when you go there in the evening, the place is in darkness. That's what I promised in my campaign, that within 2 months, we put a solar light there. We don't have to wait for government to come. We have to tell government that we are too serious. We can also help ourselves. It's possible to have a solar light, 7.5 kVA, the minimum, to power some of our equipment, so that night social life can be possible there. The way it is now, nothing can happen there. It's like a graveyard, going to seek pleasure in a graveyard. No. When we come, it's possible. Then you will see social life. Those who think that they are enjoying social life are learning. By then, they will know that social life can be better in the evening when you have been productive during the day. Because we will not encourage you to come there. You are not doing anything where you should be looking for news and disseminating news. You are just there, lazing about, drinking, sleeping. No, that place will not be a place for internally displaced person anymore. We will have that place run professionally. We give it to those who know how to bring clients, not just those who get accidental clients to come and use our halls or our rooms. No, we give it to a professional. I don't have any business running that place myself because I have plenty of work to do in my place of work. And that way, you will enjoy the running of that place. It's not my job to know how much who is coming to rent that place. It's not my job. A professional will handle that place. We will actually look for a consultant who will run that place. Just that when we have activities, we inform the consultant ahead of time that we use the hall for so and so time. Without understanding, we can have a consultant run that place, and it will be to our benefit. We face our primary assignments of working for whatever establishment we are working for. And you see, there is a center there, a resource center there, for a cafeteria sort of, where it's a cyber cafe, where people are supposed to process their write-ups, their stories. It has been locked. It has not been put into use, and we are aware that the place is fully equipped. We make that place to be functional. With that solar light there, that place will become functional. And you will see that that place will be put to good use, different from what we are having. That place has never been put to use. Our journalists, they hang around. Some of them come to secretariat here when they have stories to process, and they will be looking for lights. No, we make that place to be useful for them, to them, at the on our coming in as the executive, the power team coming in as the executive of the Delta State Council of the NUG.
As I begin to call the drones back home, the NUJ have subsidiaries, if I may use that, such as Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN, and Nwabuonwu. Oftentimes, it is perceived that there are rancorous relationships between NUJ and these offsprings, or should I say subsidiaries. What do you have in mind to ensure that there is harmony and all carried along in one accord, at least in Delta State?
I think they complement one another. It's just when you have leadership that is having complex problem, inferiority complex problem, you see the other person as a competitor. They're supposed to complement one another. Today, the council is at loggerhead with Swan and Nwabuonwu. That shouldn't be. We need these two other subsidiaries of NUJ to make NUJ function very well. We will not be seeing them as competitors. It's not proper. The fathers of the union that created these two subsidiaries of the NUJ did not make mistake, because these are specialized areas. They have their specialized roles to play, and they are even helping to project the NUJ in better light. So we continue to go back to our old arrangements of seeing them as complementary to the job that the NUJ does. So that is what we do. We will welcome them back and see them as assets that we can gain from, because we cannot do it alone as journalists. We need our women to go into other areas of socio-cultural needs to address societal needs, and that is where they are doing well presently. So we will encourage them to function well. You see now the sports festival is going on and Swan is active. Everybody cannot be sports writer. So you need the specialized people, those who are trained to carry out that activity. If we continue to beef them to say they are doing our work, I cannot be a beat writer in aviation and still be a Swan writer. I cannot be a bureau chief and still be a Swan writer. There must be somebody under me who I should send to go and cover. So you cannot do everything yourself. That's why they have capped that Swan to concentrate on sports writing and become expert in it. That way, we are all projecting the NUJ. Today, even at the national level, it's a headache. But I am of the view that we should see ourselves as complementing one another rather than competing against one another.
In the final analysis, some have described the power team as an assemblage of like minds, of intellectually proficient, with strong energy of character. I don't know how factual that is. Nonetheless, what are the specific considerations that inform this conglomeration, and what will be your special appeal to, in this case, the electorates as a politician that you are now, regardless?
Okay, it was tasking, painstaking to come up with those powerful team of men and women. And if you look at it, it's like what we call divine arrangements. I approached some persons for other position, but I must confess that me and Felix Eku, the vice chairman, we have been on this project since last year. And so we needed a secretary who we already have in the person of Comrade Patrick Oche, but he had to relinquish running for any position. That put us in a big dilemma. We now started looking for who to replace him, because he has been a capable and giving the secretariat dynamic touch. And we needed him. At the time we needed him, he said he wanted some other things to concentrate on. But at the end of the day, I saw somebody that is equally capable, sound, intellectually mobile, in the person of Comrade Victor Soroku. And if you compare him with any other person running presently, you will see that his miles above them, head and shoulders above them. That's why I said it was a divine arrangement. Now, we said women should also be part of us. That's why we had Josephine Omodo as the assistant secretary, who we know has served in a chapel in different capacities. And of course, Caro Ubini, who is our treasurer. We believe that that position should be reserved for people who have the capacity of trust to keep the common patrimony of the council in safety. That's why Karobini is also another asset in our team. So this is the 5 persons that constitute the power team block. And of course, we have been blessed with a wonderful Director General and Deputy Director General, Nigeria. Of course, we have our Diaspora Director General in the person of Ngozi Adigwe, and we have Perebotu as the Director General, Nigeria, and Florence Nwabuonwu as the Deputy Director General, Nigeria. So these have been wonderful people. They have made this campaign seamlessly progressive. They have made the campaign to be a true victory for us, because where we are now, we have finished campaign. What we are waiting for is for mobilization for elections, and we believe that with the spade work and the groundwork that they have done so far, victory is sure for us. We have other people who are in the campaign council doing marvelously well, because they believe so much in this team, power team, that the power team, if we get it wrong this time around, we regret the next 3 years. So that's why they are putting all their efforts, all their human and material resources to ensure that the power team prevails at the end of the day. And I want to thank all of them, because I know that victory is sure. But then I must beg our electorate not to get it wrong this time around, because this is an opportunity that we either make or mar us continuously, and we beg them not to fall to frailties of sentiments of tribalism. The union knows no tribe. The union knows no tribe. The union knows professionalism. The union knows content. The union knows capacity, and the union knows character. If we can imbibe all this in our choices on the day of voting, then we end up moving this council to greater heights, because the power team is set to move the Desert Council to greater heights.
Well, it has been an interesting interaction with you, Comrade Churchill, the power team chairmanship candidate for Delta State NUJ election 2023. And of course, our brother, Comrade Perebotu, the DG of the power team and chairman DBS Asaba Chapel of Delta State NUJ. And of course, my sister, Florence Nwabuonwu, the deputy DG of the power team. Thank you immeasurably for sharing this time with North 24 TV. Wishing you all the best as you go to the polls. We pray your aspirations turn out to be victory for NUJ generally. Good luck and Godspeed.
All the pleasure is mine. Thank you very much.